Hi, this is Roger Smith, and this is a True Blue Lounge. And today we have an educator, coach, and leader, Mr. Caple Green. Mr. Green, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, 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 good. Hey, I'm really glad that you're able to grace this little platform, and I hope it's going to be fun for you because I'm sure going to have some fun today. So, so how I like to start this off, Mr. Green, is it's kind of getting to know you. So, what district in Westmoreland did you come from?
Bluefields.
Bluefields. All right. So you're always been by the sea then. All right. I didn't know that. Didn't
Indeed,
know that.
indeed. Okay.
What was early life like? Did you go to primary school in Bluefields?
Yes, I did. I went to the all. Well, at the time it was an all age school. That's not there anymore. But when they had independence, 1962, I represented that school at Jamaica Independence.
Nice, nice. And then after that school, where did you go after that?
But I went to what is now called Godfrey Stewart in Sablamar. And then in 1967, 68, I went to a junior teachers college in Kingston called Canewood Teachers College, which I took two other friends from the school with me. And we did teaching and then left from there and went to Michael University after that.
Nice, nice. So what? So your first stint at Mannings, when did that start?
So my first stint at Mannings was after I left Michael University, I was in an internship and I was a cadet officer. So I was running the Mannings cadet unit while I was teaching again at Bluefields, Bluefield School
Okay,
that year.
okay,
And
okay.
then the following year, I went in as a full-time teacher at Mannings.
Right, right, right. So before I go down the school part, let me just ask you a couple of just general questions. Do you drink, Mr. Green?
I used to do that.
Okay. And what was your drink of choice?
Well, it varies. Beer sometimes, sometimes some little rum here and there, but not a whole lot of it.
Okay, okay. Any smoking?
Absolutely not.
Okay, okay. Your body's a temple, body's a temple. So no vices. When you cook for yourself, what is your go-to meal?
well, well, breakfast. I would say ackee and saltfish would be a ideal thing. Different times you cook different things, but that would be the ideal meal
Right, right, right. Okay, okay.
with roast bread food and stuff like that.
And you can cook,
Or
yes? You're a
oh
good
yeah,
cook?
yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. My mom was one of the best cooks in the area, so I
Okay.
learned from her.
All right, all right, all right. Nice, nice. So let me ask you this. So when you went to Godfrey Stewart, you were living in Bluefields?
Yeah.
And how did you get to school?
Well, we travel. At first, I was riding my bike, about four of us. My bike, my bicycle, and then afterwards we would take the bus to
Okay,
school
okay.
from
You
school.
know, if I remember right, that road, especially around that cave area, had to be
Yes.
treacherous.
Well, only one spot they call it Johnson Hill. That was the most down to water wheel. That was the most dangerous area to travel, but we maneuver it.
Wow, wow, wow. And what we're talking about, fixed wheel bicycle or yeah, fixed wheel?
Well,
Them
one of my
days.
friends had a fixed wheel. The rest of us had. I had a ladies' wheel.
Okay, 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 okay. Hey, you can't do that nowadays, you know, you get in trouble.
I know, different times.
Right, right, right. So at Manning's, Mr. Green, you were a real taskmaster, real taskmaster. You
That is
didn't
true.
joke with them boys. I mean, I don't know what's going on now, but I just knew Mr. Green just wasn't the one. He wasn't the one that you could be that guy, you know? Yeah, you know what I mean? So where did that come from where you were hard, you know, you were building metal then?
Yeah, well, it has to do with when I first went to college in Kingston, Michael. You had to do philosophy, and there were numerous philosophers that you had to study, like Comenius, Plato, Aristotle. Pythagoras, etc. And they have standards and methods of teaching and learning. And I think I picked it up from that and used it in my teaching methods to teach my kids.
Right. So even
And
the
then, and then,
people
and
in
then I was,
go on, sir.
then I was also a cadet at the time. So cadet is serious business too. So everything I was in, there was something there to guide me and help me bring my kids a certain way.
So from your whole Mannings dealing with, let's talk about Mannings. Can you name someone, a guy, because I don't think women gave trouble, a guy that you said gave the most trouble at school in your time?
Most trouble.
There's probably
Well,
about three of
my
them, you know.
eh,
There's
you,
probably about two, three of them, you know.
I don't remember exactly the ones, but whatever they were, and they had to stop doing what they're doing when I get a hold of them, because I would reason with them. Some I would come down a little bit hard and basically they know where I'm coming from once I intervene, so they would get themselves right.
Okay, okay, okay. So, and bear with me, my mind works like this. I have to be all over the place, but vibe with me anyway. So, when you were looking after all of these football teams at Mannings,
Mhm.
does any of them come to you as the most skillful set? And why do you think they were the most skillful set that came together at once?
Yeah, yes. The DaCosta had a DaCosta Cup team with people like Daddy Koo, Daddy Koo,
Yeah.
Boddington, yeah, and Frank Gale, and quite a number of those guys. I forgot all of them now, but they were pretty decent. SU, they were pretty decent. But while I had them, the Savlamar crowd, when you teach them one thing, the crowd would have them trying to do
Right.
something else. And then they adapt that. That's when you mentioned that I took off somebody in 30 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. What's his
Uh,
name? Was it
we're-
Bappy? It was Bappy?
no, no, it was Bertie
Bertie.
SU.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, he was the most skillful link person I had on that team. And we were playing York Castle. And they passed the ball team at link. And he held the ball by himself, beat everybody, went down to the goal that is down Vietnam side of the goal. And while he's about to shoot, as soon as he lifted his foot up, a fellow from Castle took the ball off his leg. And they turned back the other way. And they took a shot at my goal and hit my goal post. And the ball bounced back out. And as soon as that happened, I asked the referee to send him in, put him on the bench. That was the best player. And, and there were guys behind up in that middle building there. I think it's Prescott building it's called today. That started to raise hell and shout at me that I take out the best player off the field. But guess what? Within 2 minutes, we scored.
Okay, okay,
I put on a fellow that called, his name was George Condell. I put him
okay.
at link, and he did the distribution that we planned and how we and we went down and we scored. And about 5 minutes later, we scored again.
Is it
So that was
74, 75, would you say?
yes, yes,
Okay, okay.
and then once that happened, halftime is gone, and then we start again. And about 5 minutes after we started second half, we scored again. And maybe about 10 minutes later, we scored again. So the game ended with us giving Yarcastle 4 love. And the same people who were shouting at me that I took off the best player, they kept run down on the field and said, "Coach, you're the best player. You know what you're doing."
Yep, yep, yep. So they've stayed, man. I remember, and I have to say this. I remember Dodger
Yes,
playing,
Dodger. That
and
was the under
Dodger
14.
and Dodger brought a crowd with him.
Yes.
Popularity, and I'm from Amity, so I don't know these parts of Savlamar, but all I know is, as a coach of someone like Dodger, when him carry 50 people come. Yeah, you're under pressure to put him on. You know what I mean? I remember, and I remember this vividly. He's playing under 14. I think he was either left or right. He was on one of the wings,
Left wing.
left wing. And as someone passing the ball, and the man just controlled the ball, he done nothing. I don't know if he dropped his shoulder or whatever. And the
Everybody's
crowd went crazy. And if you didn't know that nothing was done, Mr. Green, I just the crowd, for them boy touch the ball, And I
That's
was
true.
thinking, wow, if he saladed somebody, that's like World Cup winning for them, and it was just one of them things, So I knew the pressure you were under. So did you
Well,
have to play those Savlamar boys out of pressure sometimes?
no. That particular team with Dodger on it, I had a specific design. That was perhaps the best team that I coached because I had gotten some directive from the Brazilian coach, Grande. And there are some set plays that I draw up and put in a book. And they practice them like I could score within 1 minute after the game start. I could have scored a goal right there. I could do several things in diagonal defense. If the next team coming towards us, our defense would go diagonally, right? So you couldn't pass through that defense. And then there was a little fellow named I think Gerks. I think his name was. He was a striker.
No. Gerks wasn't. Gerks
No, not
older.
Gerks. Gerks is a different. Is on the other.
Biggs.
Yeah.
Biggs.
Biggs. To me, that guy Biggs was the best striker I ever had at Mannings.
Wow.
He was the smallest guy, but he was sure as long as his leg put foot on that ball, it's going into the goal. The only other person who was as good as him in striking was Demetrius Samuels.
Wow, I know Demetrius, yes.
Right. They were the two best in terms of the set plays that we put in place. Once you operate the set plays, you're going to score. Right. If you do something different from what I teach you, then you're going to be losing the game.
But you remember, Silla and I think Bonnie Washington was in the middle. So I think it was easier for guys like Biggs, when you have that level of distribution,
Well, here you go. You just use the right word. It was a level of distribution. We were playing. If you notice how say Brazilians one play, if you have the ball and you give it to me, I give it back to you. You give it to somebody else. It's not kick and run down. It was a planned. So once Silla or Bonnie Washington, they pass it to who going to score. Any one of them got the ball, whether Silla or Bonnie. They're going to pass it to someone which is already designed to receive it, and you're going to be in a spot to receive it. So it wasn't just kick and run; it was designed.
Yeah, man. So tell me this. So because of the way we practice at Mannings School, did you ever find that there was boys from out of the area and not Savlamar? And I'm going to explain where my mind's going. The Sav youth them can, all of them, remember a young guys them can all walk home together at 8 o'clock when training done. But you may have a real skillful boy and he live up in a Lennox Big Woods or Witton, Darliston. How do these guys,
So the Darliston situation was different because there were 3 people from Darliston that played on the under 14 team.
Okay.
One was my brother-in-law. One was Lennox. One was Lennox. Len Williams.
Okay.
One was Howard. One was Howard Wang.
Yeah. Killer Leng, yes.
Yeah, right, Killer Len. All 3 of them was from Darliston.
Okay.
So they were right. So they were able to get home after the training is done. Or if they have difficulty, I would take them home.
Right. Because I always thought that was a rough one. That was always rough to.
No, I had people from
kids.
I have people from different Grange, Burns upon and all that. So, but we design the training so that it's done within a certain time. that they could get.
So I interact with I've interacted of late with three under 14 guys, and I'm going to call their names. I interact with Dwight Coote, Gabby.
Yes, that was a good guy.
I've spoken to Manbat,
Yes,
Mr. Espute, Manbat, and I speak to Dodger, Brian
that a
Young.
young guy. Uh-huh.
And whenever I speak to them, and I want to have this conversation because I don't, we talk about it, but I need these things to be memorialized. These guys always remember the Hopeton Kelly passing in that bus, but
Yes.
when they explain it to me, Miss Agree, I was in that year group, but it didn't affect me the way it affected these guys. And when they talk about it after 45 probably years now, these guys have so much hurt, anguish bubbling today. You know what I mean? And I'm
We
sure
all
they've
do.
had grievances, so.
We all do. I mean, maybe me more than all of them
How
feel it
old were
more
you at
because
the time? How old were you at the time?
could be about 26 or somewhere there.
Me and a couple of guys, we were talking and we were saying, man, just imagine being that teacher at that time. How how do you sit down and, when it's all said and done, who did you talk to? How did you get over it?
Well, when I took them back to the hospital and from up cave where he had put his head through the window and the pole hit him by his temple, he was still alive. And we went across to the hospital there, and I think either that night or the next morning, they said he passed. And that was really a heavy burden on me. When I tell the guys about it, you could see them. They all felt it because it was a team. Those guys, they were together like one unit. So if somebody is hurt or damaged, they're gonna feel it, and they feel it. Because I can tell you, it's like they was like they are family. They were like brothers, all of them. You know? And for years, when we talk from time to time, including Pringle, Coot Pringle, Cecil Pringle, he died now. You heard about that.
Yeah.
Dodger, the little one you talk about, striker there, my striker,
Biggs.
used to work at the bank, yeah. Yeah,
He's
Biggs.
still there. He's still at the bank.
Right. And of course, I spoke with Dodger quite a few times since he's down in Atlanta. I spoke to Coot, he's down in Florida. But quite a few of them I have word with from time to time. I know that they remember it just like I do. And I think I feel it more than they do because I had just said to all of them, it wasn't Kelly alone, to sit down, be quiet, keep your hands and heads inside. And by the time I shut my mouth up, the next thing they say, he got hit. I couldn't believe he got up and pushed his head
The window.
through, through the window. So that hurt me a lot because those things I pay attention to, you know. I don't just carry my kids out like that. I watch what they're doing and talk to them from time to time, and I had just spoken with them about that situation.
Wow, wow, wow. I want to ask you about another player. I'm going to see if you remember the English guy Gramps Harding. So
Derek,
so yeah,
things.
Derek. So this is, and I'm going to tell you what my memory was. My memory of Derek was that he was of a larger stature than most of the other guys, but he had very nice feet. His touches were, I'm not going to say they were messy like, but you know what I mean. In that era, for a big guy, like do you remember Jesus? I can't remember Jesus' actual name, but remember Jesus when you defended him?
Yeah,
Jesus, one of them guys will remind me in the comments.
I'm trying to. I know Jesus though. The name is very familiar, but Derek Harding was more or less. There was another guy about his size at the time on the team. He used to play sweep defense. I mean, Derek Sewell. You know
Yep, I know.
Sewell? Right.
Yeah.
He he and Derek used to play in the, about close side by side.
Right, right, right. But I remember he used to pop a lot for a defender.
Yeah,
And
right. But
I know you had to restrain him because
oh yeah,
he was the guy that would want to dribble score as well.
oh
And
yeah, oh yeah.
yeah, that was Harding.
But I wasn't playing that though because, like
Yes.
I said, two things I wasn't playing. Just kick with the ball
Uh-huh.
and holding the ball.
Right, right, right.
Individually hold it for a long time. You can hold it, but you must be, as soon as you hold it, you must know the next step. Who is going to after that? You can't keep it. You can get it, control it, but you have to pass it. Because if you keep it, you're going to be sitting on the bench.
Right, 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 right. So the ego. So you made these men, Mr. Green, and what maybe something you don't realize is when these guys made the D Cup team or the under 14 team, they walked around the school like they had four testicles. You know what I mean? They were the man. You know what I mean? So
That's true.
you realize when you all bench a man, you took away something from him, and when you
I,
put him on the team, he's walking around the school, no teacher, nobody couldn't talk to him.
yeah, and you one person who it really affected. It affected SU. The SU the York Castle game. He went to spend about a minute on the field.
Yes, that wasn't there. Okay, okay.
Yeah, it affected him more than he never did it again.
Wow, wow,
Never.
wow.
And he was perhaps the most skillful player on the team at that time. Bertie SU.
Yep. I got another question for you, and I hope you're enjoying answering these because this is a funny one for me. We beat Cornwall College, and I'm gonna say 76, but I'm not sure about the date. We beat Cornwall College 1-0. Somebody scored from a corner. Do you remember who scored the goal from a corner?
Yes. I think it's Michael Francis, I think.
You sure it wasn't Bobo Collins?
Or Bertie. Or Collins that went to UWI.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hold a second.
Because I was talking to Christopher Nita.
It could be because I also beat Rusty One Love, and the Rusty One Love was Michael Francis did that, and he got the ball over the half line and was dribbling and running down, and the goalie came out about a chain out of the goal, and I had to shout at him from the
Shoot.
to take a shot.
Right,
And when
right,
he took
right.
it passed over the head of the goalkeeper and going, and that's the
Nice.
one goal we beat them by.
Wow. So this Cornwall goal was a corner, and Christopher Nita told me that is a regular thing that this guy does in practice.
Well, we practice that too because there is a way for corners to be taken on our team, and there are certain specific guys that will come up to head it in, or we can circle it in the way that you said there, or we can circle it the other way. When you circle it the other way, the person who comes in and heads it going with more force.
The in-swinger.
The one, yes, the in swinger. When you head that one, it goes to the goalkeeper with more force.
Right.
The one that curving like Collins scoring it. That one, you have to depend on it beating the first upright to get in. But the other one you can place it with your head.
Right. Nice. So these D Cup. I remember these D Cup teams. We used to have some electrifying games. I don't know. I left Jamaica in 1980, but for the time I was in Jamaica, I remember when we used to play Cornwall, the amount of people in buses, hanging out of buses in pickup. And
Yeah,
when I talk about these weren't from no aristocratic areas. When they came down on Savlamar, it was electric. The propensity for violence is like it was
always
amazing. Yeah.
always. And you talk about propensity. The thing with Cornwall is not that they had exceptional players. How they used to survive was they had some specific referees in Montego Bay area that they used to get to do their games for them, and the referee helped them to win most of the games.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't
It's
that they were
agreed.
playing.
Careful.
Huh?
You mean them thief where a whole heap of we game them from we?
All the time. Look. I went up to Cornwall to play them 1 year, and Cliffy really let us down because um, one of the set players that we had about a minute after the game started, Cliffy was standing in front of JG about less than half a chain to score, and he froze. He froze and didn't score. That the whole man to be shut up. They
Wow.
shut up when they see we did that.
Wow,
They
wow, wow.
freeze. Yeah,
Who was the
So
best keeper that you had?
Van Horn by all means,
Creature.
Creature,
Yeah, yeah.
Creature,
So,
Creature did when we went to the second round after we won Zone A and went to play Veer at Stets. You remember that? You were there at that time?
no, 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 but tell us about it.
Yeah. So we went to Veer and Creature was keeping the first half. His back was towards the school where most of the crowd was, and Veer could not score. He went all in the pigeon and put the ball back down from there and all that stuff.
Wow.
And then he went back. He went to the other end after the second half, and a guy at dreadlocks went behind the goal and told him that if he touched the ball, he going to shoot him. And he just stood up and let the ball run past him and score. Like Beer beat us.
Creature.
Yeah, but all he had to do was call me, just shout to me and quickly, and I would have get the referee and get people behind him. I would have won the game. We would have won the game. But we had a good striker though from Westmoreland named Andrew Andrews.
Okay.
You know about him, right?
Yes, yes. I've heard the name Andrew
Right.
Andrews.
Yeah, he was the one who scored that walking goal that just run along the line and past Creature standing up. But because he was threatened that he was going to be killed if we touch it, that's why we lost that game. We could have won the DaCosta Cup that year if that didn't happen.
Wow, 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 wow. Do you remember a guy named Long Life?
Yes, man.
Do
We
you?
should get
We
the
used,
beer.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We used to always think because of he was very mature. We used to always say him have three pitney and wife because he didn't he when he under 19 we used to look a certain way, you know what I mean? He looked like a grown man at the time, but he was
That's true.
amazing. Yeah, I think
That's true.
the last game I remember us playing in Froome. I think they gave us 6-love when they used to come down. You know them when we when I know once we win in our division and we went to Stets. Them the time then I'm talking about 77, 76, 77. It was rough, you know. I remember someone saying when you came back from Australia, and I'm gonna ask you about that now. When you came up from Australia, Mr. Green, I go on like in Moon, go learn about football. You know how Jamaicans stay. So,
That
so
can go
tell me
here. That
how
can go.
you got to go to Australia to do this
Yeah.
coaching thing.
Yeah. Yes. What do you want to know about it?
Yeah, how did it come about, and what was
Oh, what?
the experience for you?
Okay. So that was a scholarship I got from the Australian government to go down there.
Why
Uh,
you?
well, they interviewed several people from different schools in Jamaica, and I was the only one that they selected to send down there that year. That's 79. And that's Netherlands College of Advanced Education. It's now Edith Dalton University. And I learned a lot down there. And the reason why it is similar to the British system. Jamaica and Australia and Britain, we do the same things. And I learned a lot down there in terms of the science of certain things, whether it is whatever game it is. And I learned a lot of games down there that I didn't play in Jamaica because I didn't have the facilities for that. For example, golfing. I could play golf very well after I left down there, but there was no place for me when I came back to Westmoreland because the golf club at Paradise had dissipated or gone away.
Right.
So what I did, one of the sports that I brought back with me was badminton, which I put up something in the auditorium, and we were teach people in there to do that. And let me see what else I did.
Hockey? Was hockey one of them?
We did hockey down there too, but I didn't reintroduce it at Mannings
Okay.
because it was me alone was the and nobody else knew anything apart from me. So I didn't reintroduce that because I was coaching soccer, I was doing athletics and all the different things and cadet and teaching subjects, geography and whatever. So and I didn't have enough help to do those things.
So, Mr. Green, so from you left Mannings to where you are sitting today, how did that come about?
So when I left Manning's 82, I went to Howard University and I was on leave from the Ministry of Education for 3 years. But I finished that in a year and a half. And, it's funny, when I was going there, Mr. Anita said I didn't have to continue doing the teaching stuff. I could have done something else. And I think I made an error because I thought I was coming back. When I left, I had all plans to come back to Mannings. But I had 2 kids at the time and a wife. And I should have, at the time, since I wasn't coming, if I knew I wasn't coming back, I should have done geology or engineering. And I said geology because I could have gone down to Texas where the oil industry is and make a bag of money down there. And I didn't do that.
Right.
Or I could have done engineering and do something else big in America. But instead, my wife and kids came up. So I worked with McDonald's Corporation for about 4 years, where I was a supervisor for them in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And I even draw up strategies and plan how to run the stores for them, which they copied and used it throughout the United States.
Wow.
And then afterwards, I left and I opened my own business. I was the only black manufacturer of bagels in the United States. I had a bagel shop
Okay.
in the
Where did you get
Chesapeake.
the Where did you get the bagel idea from?
Well, it's funny. There was a corporation in the district that had 300 stores, including mine, and I was the only black person who got one of them, one of those bagels in the district. And at that time, I was the only one among all the 300 and something bagel shop that had a drive-through, and I was manufacturing bagels. It was 724 operation. I make bagels by day, bake them by night, and ship them to all the major hotels in Washington, D.C. So it was $1 million company, that the bagel industry, and I run it for 16 years.
Wow.
That was sort of destroyed, cut almost in half, because I hired like 28 people in that industry. And and I said when he had 9/11 sort of jolt the system because the hotels now tourists wasn't coming after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So it cut my sales like 50%.
Right.
So 2010, I shut that down, sold the building that I had, and opened another building where I was doing like I set up another business called Eclectic Cafe, and that I was doing Jamaican, American, Italian stuff in there, and that was like that Monday to Friday. So you get a break from the 724, and you get a little break on Saturdays and Sundays.
Right. For yourself.
Right. And then I sold that last year, and so I am retired and I'm at home now.
Okay. Okay. And how are you feeling your time at home?
Well, actually, that started in December, well, January this year, and I just hung around doing nothing great or productive. But I went down to Jamaica um, in about when I spoke to you, I was in Jamaica at Mannings
Right.
for the 76ers, the group which I carried through from first form to fifth form. I'm glad I did go and meet them again because they were all great people.
Right.
They
Nice. Nice.
various professions throughout. They are in America. They're all over the world. That group of kids, you know, very big in terms of what they are worldwide.
Nice. Nice.
Very successful.
I'm so glad that this alumni thing in Mannings is so vibrant.
Right.
I only got introduced to it in the last probably 2 years. I think after COVID, but it's really really nice to see.
I think it's the most vibrant in Jamaica in all the schools. I don't think there's another school like Mannings in Jamaica doing the things that the past students are engaged in.
Right.
I haven't seen it anywhere else. I heard of it anywhere else.
When you're watching English Premiership football, what team inspires you? What team you look at and say that's a good
Well, the
team?
problem, so that was a problem for me in terms of I would like to have done that, but like I told you, my my business situation it was 724, so you'd only hear commentary and like on MSNBC, there was a guy there, Joe Scarborough, who always talked to, I forgot the name of the fellow from England about it all the time. But for me to really watch it, I wasn't really watching it as such.
Okay. Well, now you got some time to sit down and watch,
Maybe I can start look back at it again.
watch. Yeah. So when so I knew Cecil Pringle from 77, 78, 79. So for 3 years.
Yeah,
So his class was the sister class for ours.
right.
We had a lot of scholars in our class, and
Yes,
the ballers were in that
right,
class.
right.
What I don't understand, Mr. Green, why you never put bibs on us and shuffle the deck, make we get a good game? Do you know what
Who,
it's like
who,
for a
who,
class
who,
to get
who?
15 love?
Oh,
Silla in a one class, Biggs in a one class. They had about 5 of the under 14 youth them, or 6
yeah,
in the
yeah.
class there.
It's funny you say that. I don't know where, but from time to time, there is always a class that is the majority is good in something. They're either footballers, netballers, or academics. But it's not spread out like what you said there.
Right. We had
There's always somebody overpowering,
yeah, we had great guys like Nigel Myrie, Peter James, Brian
Yes,
Wallace. All of these
right.
guys that probably went to upper six, blah. Them
Yes,
kind of guys. You know
yes,
what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah.
these guys needed to be probably doing sports fitness or something. But and then we had the other guys, Jesus and
Right,
all them man there. When
right.
Jesus run, Jesus was the big sweeper. When Jesus lick one of them guys there, a 4 foot in the air and drop them on their back, it was over. So
He did he die?
yes, I
Jesus?
think he
Yeah.
had
He and
diabetes.
Pringle was good friends. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, it's it's funny. A lot of times now, when we used to see when you hear about names from Mannings, you went to the magazine and look and see a little picture and things. So I'm trying to make it different. So Mr. Green, let me ask you this about yourself: are you religious, sir? And how does religion help you in your life?
Well, it did because, like I said, I am Episcopal, which is Anglican, and I've been that throughout all my life. Even when I went to college, you had to go to the minister for him to sign the stuff for you to go get into Michael. And when I left Michael and came back to Bluefields School to teach, as a matter of fact, before I went to Michael, I taught at Bluefields for a semester, and I forgot his name now. But he had to sign because I'm Anglican, but he had to sign my documents for me to get to teach at that school, the church school. So religion have a lot to do with me and the teaching profession. Yes.
Never thought about being a pastor though,
No, never thought of that, but
because that
it could
1/10
have.
of your earnings it adds up.
Yeah, that's true. It does. It does. But in those days, Jamaica was going through transition. So people move from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Today it's also different from what it was 40, 50 years ago. It's totally different. You know, for example, people in Jamaica in my school days, as a young man, say 9, 10, 11, 12, everybody when they're traveling, they go to Britain. After, I would say, somewhere about in the 70s, people start going to America and stop. They still go to Britain, but not in wholesale like in the earlier days, in the 40s and 50s, because two of my uncles went to Britain. My father was in Britain in Birmingham. My two uncles was in Sheffield.
Okay.
My cousin, my cousin was in Sheffield. She's a nurse. She went to Canada from there and became the head matron or whatever in Canada. So you see, today I would say maybe 90% of the people are not going to Britain; they're going to America.
Wow.
So everything's on time to change.
So I know you've probably gone through a lot of challenging times, but I'm looking a little bit more inspiration here. So I'm thinking how I want to shape this question to you is how do you name a time in your life where it was very hard for you and how did you overcome it? So whether it's grief or whatever, but how did you get out of that hole, whatever it is?
Well, the time when I think I had major grief in my life was I think is 79 when I was away in Australia. And I heard the news about Jamaica with the, what was it again? 79 flood.
Yes.
Yeah, that had destroyed my grandmother's house and my uncle's house, lift it up off the block and take it to a different part of the district.
It's
That
funny you call it. You said, did you call it the '79 flood?
yeah, 79 because I wasn't there, so I
Yeah,
had to.
I know it as a June 12th flood. I don't know for some
Right,
reason.
June 12 was
June
another
12th.
name
Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard of.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where coffins were on the street. What everything went washed with that time there.
everything was washed away. And what struck me was that my great grandparents, grandmother is from Scotland, a Scottish woman, and where they built a great house at the time in Bluefields, that water would never have touched that place. And where my grandmother built her house at out further from the property where the property was, she put it right in the part of the water.
Right,
So
right.
she lost, so she had to. And she died before I even got back to Jamaica. So that was a tough time for me.
And when you go through these tough times, how do you reconcile it? How do you deal with it?
Well, you thought about what could have been and all that. And in her case, by the time I get back, it was like June 12th. I got back, I think, to Jamaica in December of that year. So actually, I didn't see. So when I came back, the roads were fixed, the new bridges were built. Well, the house, you couldn't see that. Only the base and thing was left, the concrete part of it. So you figure out how tough it must have been. But luckily, my house was on the other side, so she was able to live there
Right,
until she left.
right, right, right. Wow. So being away, that must have, if you're in Jamaica, at least you can be there and be of assistance. When you're
Right.
in Australia, you're like,
You
probably
just you just
20.
hear you just hear the deluge, but you didn't know it was like that.
Right.
When you come back and look at the different when you start to travel around and people tell you, and you saw it, for example, Bluefields has a bridge system that was built by the British. When I came back, that kind of bridge was not there anymore. It was something built by the Americans, and the road is now over it. You didn't have the hedging coming up the white concrete at
Right.
the side of the road. It was just the river running through the metal stuff what they put there, and the road was even where Bluefields Beach was one of the better beaches in terms of holidays in Westmoreland, and they changed the road and put on the other side of the morass, but they never did reopen the beach that people could fill it up like in my young days.
Right, right,
If I go there today to get a swim, I have to go on the hillside close to the where the Kisak used to live, the foam people used to run from
right.
factory. You know, it's ridiculous. They need to reopen that beach and open that road for beachgoers.
I don't know. We used to call it Sabito for some reason.
Sabito, exactly, Sabito.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That I can't understand how people you have council members, you got MPs, and they don't see the significance of that to bring it back to semblance of what it was. You know, I used to go there every morning, ride my bike down there, and take a swim before I go to work and all
Wow.
that.
So we used to go Sunday after church. It was a
Yes,
ritual. Every Sunday we went to Bluefields from MET.
and yes, you know, and another thing that I saw that when I went down there this year, and where the fort was that we used to go and eat lunch and stuff and dinner. You know the fort by the Savlamar,
Yes. Uh huh.
right? There's no more building there. It's not operational. It's gone.
Wow.
And I can't understand how there is nobody can take a look and start to re-establish and put back a new building there and make it be looking attractive to the helping the city, the town. You know, it's pathetic what I see going on there.
It
It's like
takes cash to care. I'm told. It takes cash to care. Uh, you know, I'd love to ask you this. So, when we expire, Mr. Green, what do you think happens to us when we're dead?
that's a question that that baffles me because, like I said, I give you this. When I was 18 years old, I went to college. I went to Michael University in Kingston, and one of the things that we studied was the Bible as literature. I don't know if I heard of that before. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, good. The Bible as literature. I had a nice little King James version about maybe about 6 inches by 10 inches that I used to carry around with me. And the Bible as literature listed seven Bibles in existence. Mine was one of them. You had the Catholic Bible, the Great Bible, the Wycliffe Bible, the Tyndale Bible, the American Standard Version, and so on and so forth. And it baffled me. It started to spin my head because I thought that my Bible, the King James Version, was is the Bible and there's nothing else. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it sort of give me different. I started to think differently about the question you asked me there. It sort of opened my mind a little wider and started to give me thought. And I did some research in college at that time, and the Italians have something to do with what we have today. And I heard about the Sistine Chapel,
Yes.
right? With so that I did the research, but today I started things passed through my mind, but and even Christ's situation in the underground place in the Vatican City because there is a city by themselves and they have a lot of things hidden. And even Jesus Christ's story, they have things on it there that don't come out. So my mind is kind of wide open today,
Yes.
and I don't. I know that. Okay, so when I was at Howard, my paperwork was on God. I did that because it was bothering me from 16, 17 years old, 18, Michael. And my paper was, I think, 15 pages for my paperwork. And I went to the Library of Congress to do research on God. I couldn't find a good definition for God. The best one definition I found was by Monk Augustine, I think. where we said God is that than which no greater can be conceived. That than which no greater can be conceived exists at least mentally, but it's greater to exist extramental, because if it did not extramental, then therefore there would not be, right? So I look at God as it's extramental, far beyond you what you can see. You can see the sun, you can see everything else, but God is greater than that. I don't know what he looked like, but I believe in God. That's the key thing. And I don't know where when we die. Well, I've seen what happened when people die. My mother died, my grandmother died, and so on. But I don't know what part of the teachings that we're going to come back.
Right. I think it's great, Mr. Green, that you're open. You're open to the fact that there may be things out there we don't know.
Yes, there are many,
Because
many things.
because a lot of us when we talk, it's so definitive, and
Yes.
sometimes you have to step back and say, I don't know what I don't know. So
You
that's
don't, you don't, you
it's
don't.
healthy, very very healthy.
I did my research to find out those things because, like I said, I grew up Episcopal, and I used to go to other churches like even Georgia Witness. I used to go to their stuff. I even 7 day I listened to them. I listen to everybody, and I can't get the full picture because everybody have something that they hold on to.
Yes. And it's funny, and as you travel around the world, you're gonna
Yes,
everybody have something to deal with.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to
I,
just keep an open mind.
yes. If you could go back to speak to a young Caple Green, what would you say to him? A 17-year-old Caple Green, what would you say to him?
But I would say do the things that you were doing. I thought I did the right things, and like I said this, I was engaged heavily in any religion, but mostly Christianity at my time. But most of the people who, like, for example, 7 Day, Jehovah Witness, they, they were making up stuff and not being. But I was when I read the stuff, I would ask them questions, and when they could not answer the question as a young man, 8, 9, 10, going on, they they give you garbage.
Wow.
Yes, but you know that what they're telling you is garbage, but you can't tell them because you're a little kid and
Yes.
they are big people, you know. But you can understand from your reading
Right.
that what they said didn't make sense.
How do you manage your mental health now?
Well, I'm good with that because, like I said, I am at peace with that. And I don't let that bother me anymore so much. You live, let live, and know that there is something greater. The key thing is that something is greater, that exists. You might not know where it is, how it look, what it look like, but there's something greater.
When you think of the future, are you very hopeful
For me, or
for the
for
existence, your grandchildren and whatever?
well, they're gonna be better than me because they're exposed. What I wasn't exposed to, they are exposed to it now because I learned certain things and they can pick it up from there and go on, and somebody another set pick up from where they are and go on, and everything is a movement. Everything that you start here, you know this, but people who come after you know a little more. When motor car was built in 1905, whatever, I remember with my grandmother had a car, and our first car you could start it with a
Crank.
crank, right? Today I have vehicle here that I go in and put the key in and just push something, and it starts. So that's development go in a certain existing form. Just like when I was a kid, when the Queen came to Jamaica in the 60, I think 1960 or something like that, or before that, she came during a propeller plane. Afterwards, they started to build jet planes, and you have 707 and 727 and 737. And by 68, I remember when I was in college, France and Britain built a plane they called Supersonic Concorde Airline. You ever heard about that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Speed
then
and
I'm
light and anything.
right, yeah,
The
right.
sound
So you
barrier.
see,
Sound barrier
eh,
used to keep.
yes, sound barrier. So you see how things progress. You have to look at things in progression rather than stick and say this is what it is. That's the end all and be all. It doesn't. It's not like that. You know, you have to look at things futuristically.
I need you to engage me with some idle talk now, yeah? So when I was a youngster, third farm, I was on the football field and I think I was in a argument with a young man. It was Caswell Dawes specifically.
Oh, Caswell,
Yeah,
yeah.
Biggs, you're a big striker.
Mhm, yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
remember, after him and in class, give me every day was 18-0, every Tuesday, you come to school and 18-0,
TJ,
Silla
TJ.
scored 10 and Big scored 10. It was like that anyway. And it was just me and Daja upon in a Fiwi class.
Right.
So I remember Big said something to me and I Lego some clot and give him. And did you know I was very close to being suspended by Mr. Malai for that? And
Yeah,
why I
he's
say
another
that
one.
is I remember when I was young, as a schoolboy, we couldn't run up and down in a Saflamar. People call you up and say, listen, you go to Mannings school, you can't make noise and you can't shout around big man and all them thing there. And I look at the kids nowadays at schools and I see the lack of control. And I
There is.
wonder, and I know it's easy for us to say because the times were different then, but the strictness that we grew up and the pecking order and the understanding where we fit in and how we need to, keep quiet or whatever, the strictness. Do you think the lawlessness in Jamaica has a lot to do with the lack of set rules and regulations, especially in the schools and things?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so at early stages in Jamaica, in your time and before your time, most parishes only have one high school. For example, Mannings was the only high school in in um, in Westmoreland, and St. James might have had three: Cornwall and Mount Alvernia and something. I think another one, and St. Elizabeth might have three: Monroe, Hampton, and St. Elizabeth. Kingston might have 12 or 14, and other parishes have one, right? So the premier school, people used to have to have themselves attuned to go in there and have behavior. And then later on, when people start have certain discoveries and so on, you have more schools develop. And for example, Westmoreland, I think have about 14 high schools now, I believe. And some of them doing well and some not so well. And and the communities are not like they used to be. For example, in Bluefields, where I used to live there, about 200 people live in Brighton District, Bluefields, and everybody was skilled at something. Somebody was a musician, a shoemaker, a carpenter, a fisherman, dressmaker, a shopkeeper, something. There was something. Today, when I went there the other day, I haven't seen one tailor. We used to have three tailors. I haven't seen one tailor there. I haven't seen one dressmaker. I haven't seen any shops. Oh, but I haven't seen skillful people. So what you have is that sort of society building has diminished, and nobody leading. You could not be rude to somebody in your neighborhood in my days because they would whoop you behind. Right, but today, if you touch somebody's kid,
Sharp machete and come to school for you.
right, right. So that sort of breakdown in the society. Yeah.
You know, and this is nostalgic to me, and I don't know why it happens. But when I go to Jamaica and I look at the plant, I remember Miss Anita's house. I
Yes.
remember the green grass.
Right.
I remember the teachers' quarters. And when I
Right.
go, and
Ah.
I know, but there's a problem because when we go and talk about it, people say, it's like you mustn't say anything. But I'm just asking you, Mr. Green,
Mm.
how is it that that house couldn't have been refurbished and kept up as a, you know what I mean? What happened? What happened? That's what I want to
So,
know.
so
To
my
the
I went
plant.
when I was down there last week before last. The school has a new principal, but when I passed the quarters where Mr. Nita used to be, I saw the school bus park over there, and the lawn is now concrete and striped up like they're parking vehicles there. And the building, the house looked macheted and ugly. And when I drove down Lewis Street, the flats that I used to live at over there, the ladies' quarters, for the individual ladies, there is no more roof. There's no door on it. Where I used to live, it looked like a shack. And there are one or two people still live over there, but it's not attractive. What is going on?
So I maybe, and I wonder if it's the ministry's lack of funding. I don't know, but I'm
Well,
just, it's not.
Mannings had a what they call it again. They had a trustee that used to run Manning. So this the staff flat was run by the trustee. I think. I don't know if their trust run out or the ministry is not helping them, but there's something seems to be lacking in Jamaica where education is concerned. Something is lacking. I don't know what it is. I'm not out there, but it's terrible down that money. I notice now that the different groups, 76ers, 78, 84 to 82, they are helping the school to bring it back, make it look, have a good semblance. But, and that's the only school I've seen where people trying hard to bring back to posterity. But I don't know. There is something going on.
I hope someone can write in the comments and let us know. But it's really a shame to see. Really a shame to see. Um,
And I agree with you with your shame because, like I said, Mannings and Bluefield Beach has two things that need to be stepped up. Need to be stepped up.
so with all the killings going on in the country, if you were given 5 years to clean it up. And I know me and you, we're not the police
Mhm.
commissioner, but I'm just saying, just idly, if me and you are in our barber shop and you ask me what
Right,
would I
right,
do,
right.
I would say I would, I'm telling you what I'm saying. I'm going to give you some time to think about what you'd say, but I would scrape up everybody from 16 to 25, scrape them up in our truck. I'd put uniforms on them, teach them a trade. There'd be no time to make sure the high grade crush. Um, I would militarize, heavily. I know all of these things are totally impractical, but you're either having 1,600 murders and you're going to keep that up, that cadence, or you can come down to 10 or 20. Choose, pick your choice. So I believe sometimes you're going to have to crack some good eggs. So maybe some innocent people might have to be dead, but I believe if you cook and wash for gunman, you're a gunman too. If
Yep,
you need dumpling for gunman, you're a gunman too.
I
And if you
agree.
take gift from gunman, you're a gunman too. So
I
all
agree.
of them, family members, all of them in it, as far as I'm
Mhm.
concerned. What do you
So,
think?
so I heard you said something about scrape them up and give them a trade. Right. So you remember I told you that in Bluefields, everybody had in my time
A skill.
was something. You're a barber, tailor, dressmaker, cook. There was something you could make stuff and all that stuff. Today, if you go into any community in Jamaica, you don't have that. So what you just said a while ago is the right thing to do. Find a way to get them to learn a trade. The other thing is that they must stop using their political henchmen as Minister of National Security or police chief. For example, there was a police guy that I used to follow. at the Jamaican news named Adams, who used to be cleaning up people.
Renato.
Renato. He should have been commissioner at the time when he was performing all those work. He tried to get in there, and they prevent him from getting that job. So I don't know. I think maybe he just don't care anymore and not. Maybe he retire. And then while I was here, there was a guy, a Jamaican guy who was in the FBI. I forgot his name. He must have a radio program now. He was in Saudi Arabia, but he was working over there for the FBI. He applied to Jamaica to become commissioner. I think after Adams or somewhere there, and they didn't take him. A guy with such wide experience of different countries would be the ideal guy to give the commissioner to, because you could have looked at what happened in Saudi Arabia, you could have looked at what happened in America, he knows what happened in Jamaica. Then he make the decision and get what's best for Jamaica. They are not choosing people with experience. They're choosing cronies, and that's why they're going to get in trouble there.
Times are changing now, Mr. The finance minister joining the IMF now, so it shows
No,
that.
I want to watch what the result is, because, like I said, I remember in 69, 68, 69, one Jamaican, one American dollar equals 60 cents Jamaican, right?
Strong.
Huh?
We were
Yeah.
strong.
Because we were pegged to the British pound at the time. We were pegged there. And then Nixon and Kissinger, they destroyed the Jamaican, when Shearer was prime minister, destroyed the Jamaican economy, and then it become like 3-1, then 5-1, then 20-1, and so on. But that was because America set it up that way. Because remember Barbados, they make Barbados 2-1 and Grenada and those places, but Jamaica was just keep. And we had more, we had more, what do you call it now? Products that we could sell than any one of them, and yet ours was the weakest.
Right.
That was done deliberately. I want to see when this guy here that I saw this week, that is now number 2 man in the IMF, how you can revalue the Jamaican dollar to bring it back to strength. So let me look and see what he's going to do.
I wonder if that's his job, but no, it's. I think it's a really good. The fact that the international community can look at this guy and say he has
Put him
the
there.
skill sets to.
Yeah, he has it.
that big
Jamaicans,
job.
let me tell you something. Jamaicans all over the world, not only that you see there, you see this country here, where I'm at right now in America. You'll be surprised to know the amount of people, Jamaicans, that hold high position in this country. In whether it's radio, whether it's TV station or certain jobs. There was this girl here, who was, what's her name? What's her name again? But she was some secretary of something, but she's Jamaican. And there are a lot of university professors and thing here are Jamaican descendants. The Jamaicans are in big high position. Even
Yep.
Kamala, whatever her name is, her father is Jamaican. And there's the guy from Baltimore, the Baltimore governor, Westmore. His people are Westmoreland. They come from Westmoreland.
Right.
And it's go on and on and on. You could go on. The weatherman, the guy holds read news here in Jamaica. Woman who is trying about to try Trump in Washington D.C. Chutkin, she's Jamaican, born and raised, and Jamaican is everywhere in America.
And apparently, we're now looking to import teachers in Jamaica.
That is one hell. I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
I think they're coming from probably India and maybe a couple of African countries, but
Lord have mercy. You know, I I did about almost 12 years there teaching, but I sometimes I regret that I didn't stay there and do more for my country. You know,
I got a question for you. As a teacher in Jamaica, a high school teacher, was it normal for you to be able to own your own car?
yeah, I had my car. I had a car, and I
Did
was
most teachers could afford a car?
yeah. You could afford a car. You could afford a car in Jamaica.
Okay,
It's always been-
because I always wondered if maybe a lot of kids nowadays are going to the bus stop, and when they look over, they see their teacher. I take bus with them at the bus
Some
stop.
teachers, some teachers do that because they didn't try to learn to drive or so on. But
Okay, and then the scammer them have the BMW I drive up and down.
right, right,
So
right.
so when you're a kid at your local crossroad, you want to be a teacher or you want to be
Nurse or whatever. But in my time, for example, my brother and me, we were batchmates together. He had this car, I had my car. Just I went back over batchmate. He had this car,
what kind of car was your first car? Let me Ford what?
Ford Escort.
Okay, Mark one.
Eh?
What
No,
mark was it?
I don't remember what it is, but it was 69. It was a 69 model.
Okay,
I bought it from a doctor, Dr. Wiley. And then I traded in and I bought
what was it? A 1600 or 1.3?
and then I bought a 1600 Cortina L
Okay,
after that. And
you
then
love your
I
Ford them. Hey, anybody can repair that Ford, you know.
yeah,
Carburetor was simple, everything simple.
Ford was the when it was Britain, everything coming from Britain at the time.
Yeah.
So Ford was the king.
And if you had a little bit of money and a little bit of sports, you buy the Capri, the one with the long bonnet.
Capri, right, right, right.
Three
There you
three
go.
liter Capri, yes, yes,
There you
yes.
go. Or Anglia and all them things there.
Nice, nice. Why? Anyway, Mr. Green, I'm really glad that you're able to spend a little time and vibe with me. I really appreciate this, man. I really do. I've had some
Okay.
fun, you know.
All right.
And I'd love to, do this again. What I want to do is I want to bring on a couple of guys that you probably know well. I bring on a Gabby, Dodger
Yes.
if he wants to show him face. I'm gonna bring
That
on
sounds good.
Buster and,
Yep.
and a couple of these guys, and we supposed to can reminisce about the
All them
especially
times.
football days. You know what I mean?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So thank you again, sir, and enough respect. Thank you very much.
Good on you.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Thank you, sir. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.